Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I am an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make videos here on my YouTube channel, Watch Barbara Knit. If you'd like to know more about my knitwear designs, please check in the description below, and there you will find a link to my Ravelry pattern page where you can see all of the designs that I have available for you to get and knit up for yourself. Also in the description below, you'll find a link to a couple different social media sites. One is the Watch Barbara Knit Facebook group. We'd love to have you come over and join us so we can continue the conversations we start here on the videos and in the comments below. Also, you will find a link to my Patreon page. Patreon is a service that connects creators with the people who watch or consume their creations, and it's sort of like a tip jar. It's a way for you to support me to continue to create these videos, so check that out if you'd like. Today I have a swatch lab for you. At TNNA I received a sample bag of new yarns from Berroco, and I've started working my way through them. The first one, and I asked y'all which ones on that haul video, which I'll link to below, I asked y'all which ones you'd like to see, and the overwhelming response was you wanted to see the cotton wool blend, which is called Arno. This is my little donut of it. So first thing I'll do is let you watch the actual walkthrough of the swatch, and I'll tell you what I did. And if you want to hang around after that, we can talk a little bit more about the yarn. Here we go. Berroco Arno. Now, this is a sample ball that I received, so it's a little tiny ball, not a whole lot of yardage, and this isn't a full label, but it does tell you the name and that it's got 57% cotton and 43% merino wool. I looked up on the website. It is a DK weight yarn. You get 159 yards and it's a 50-gram ball. They recommend needle size 5 to 7. So that is what we've got. It says dry flat hand wash. It has a chainette construction. Here, let me get that out of the way to start with. See if I can get this up where you can see it. What that means, and I don't know exactly how they do this, but it's like this cage. Here, you can really see it there. And what it is it's also called I-cord construction. It's like it's a tube. Isn't that cool? And so it's very light and airy, and it really it reduces the weight of the yarn. This is a very, very light, fluffy yarn. You've got this fuzz. I'm guessing that this cage, this chainette or the I-cord, is the cotton, and then this fuzzy stuff that you can see as I open it up is the wool. And so that's going to bring some softness, but I don't know, I could be completely wrong, but you can see I played it out like that, and you can see the construction. But if I pull it back, there you see. That is what the yarn itself looks like. It gives it a very interesting look. It almost looks like a single, but it's definitely not a single, and it's not going to behave like a single. It's not going to have a lot of the problems that singles have. Singles can be weaker because there's no ply, and this is definitely a very strong. I mean, I'm pulling on it pretty hard and it's not breaking. If I pulled on a single like that, it's going to pop. And I'm guessing this construction is also going to help it with cotton has a tendency to be heavy and elongate over time, and I don't think this yarn is going to do that, which makes it ideal for larger garments. But it's really interesting. The fuzz gives it a nice look, and it gives it almost, because your cotton and your wool is going to take dye differently, it's going to give you this slightly almost, it's not heathered, but you've got two colors going on. So it gives it a depth of color that is very, very nice. So that is what the yarn looks like in the ball. It's very nice in the hand. It flows smoothly through the fingers. So that's great. And then here we have the swatch that I created to see how it performs. So when I do swatches, what I like to do is start, I just put a tiny bit of garter on it so it doesn't roll on me, but just a little bit. And then I do some stockinette just to see how it performs in stockinette. And now I know I knit this on the high side. Honestly, I've forgotten the needle size I used, but I think it was in the 7 range. So it is on the high side. So this is a very open texture. I tend to work on larger needles just because I like floppy, drapey things to see what it'll do. If you knit this on a smaller needle, it's going to have a more dense presentation. Like you see, you can see the white through this. If you knit on, see how you can see all those holes? If you knit on a denser needle, you're not going to have that. It's going to be tighter, but it's beautiful in the stockinette. Again, that multicolorness, the fact that the 2 different fibers take the color differently gives it a nice visual depth and texture without the fuzziness. You still have a decent amount of stitch definition, and that is where the next thing I did up here is your texture. And honestly, this yarn performed better in texture than I expected it to. It is fairly visible. This is simply just a knit purl pattern that I did, and you can see that the pearls catch the light differently than the knit do. So having a nice texture pattern like that, I wouldn't do anything too terribly intricate, like any of the things where you try to create a picture out of knits and pearls. This isn't going to be your best kind of yarn, but it takes a texture very nicely. I think it's pretty. And then this was the real surprise for me. I did a cable, and I really did not expect this yarn to like cables. It's cotton. Cotton doesn't typically on cables. I didn't know about the structure because singles don't tend to, I mean, they can work. I just was really impressed by this cable. I think it's a very nice cable, and I think that this yarn could really give you some beautiful cable work. This is a 2/2. If you go down to 1/1, I'm not certain that it's going to have this impact, but I really like it's got a nice, I blocked this obviously. It's not like a super round yarn. It does flatten, so it doesn't have a nice puffy cable. This isn't like Aran kind of boom cable, but it has a very nice decorative element. So I was impressed by that. And then I do some lace. And again, I thought that the fuzz might interfere with the lace a bit, but it actually did a really nice job. I did this here so we could see how more tight lace would work, where you've got a lot more holes. And then I did this just to see, and you can see this stockinette is still really nice. This is the reverse stockinette. It's holding, I blocked it, it's holding the lace fairly well. And again, you know, that's to be expected because it's a mixture of cotton and wool, both of which hold a lace nicely. But here's how it looks, which I think this would perform well in sweaters. It's not like crazy drapey. We're not looking at like an alpaca or a silk, but it has a nice bit of drape, and that's the cotton is going to be flopping a little bit more than the wool. But all in all, I think it's a lovely swatch. I definitely think it could handle being knit tighter because like in these cables, you can see my transitions are a little bit holy here. So a tighter needle, a tighter gauge is going to help pop that out a bit more. I think you could go up to bigger cables, like those patterns that have like big giant cables. I think this could be really fun. And it could be good because the cotton content is going to make it so something with that much cables, it's not going to be as dense as that type of piece would normally be. And I would not hesitate to use this in lace. Now, really super delicate lace, the fuzz is going to interfere a little bit, but in your just base, because you can see how you've got fuzz, but your basic laces, I think that this would be a champ. So in all, again, this is the Berroco Arno. if you're looking for something that will lighten up a bit, but still have a nice warm halo and fuzz. I can see this being a nice winter weight sweater for down here in the South, or for those of y'all who live in more seasonal areas where it gets colder. This could definitely be a great transitional or layering fabric for knitting. There you go. I hope you liked that swatch. It was fun knitting it up. As I said, I did it on like the largest size of the needle because I tend to like things floopy, but you can knit it up and try it out for yourself. I always encourage people to just swatch so you can get a feel for the fabric and for what that yarn likes. This one, it is soft. Now, I'm not going to say it's like one of those crazy, crazy soft yarns. It's not that. I don't think that's its strongest benefit. I don't think it's like its biggest selling point. I think it's just gorgeous. I think it has lovely texture. I think it's going to have warmth and body. I like it. It's a really fun yarn. I like that weird construction that it has. I went and checked on the Berroco website, and I have, so there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 colors. I have a little picture. I did a little screen grab so you can see them. Here are all the colors, and I really like the palette that they created for this. It's a nice, I don't know how I want to say it. It's got a nice calming feel to it. They're beautiful deep colors. They're not quite jewel tones. They're just a little on the dusty side of jewel tones. I like them a lot. I think this is the navy that I got to play with, but I really like the rose and the sage and the sangria. And I'm looking at them on my screen. They're actually, all the colors are lovely. If you are interested in this yarn and you're looking to what you might be able to make with it, I encourage you, I will put a link in the description below, to go to the Berroco site. They are very good with their pattern support, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 different patterns. This is a brand new yarn, so 7 patterns designed specifically for this yarn is really pretty good. There's a sweater, a cardigan, a capelet, a hat and mitts, another sweater, a shawl, and a nice big scarf. So it's a nice variety of pieces that might tickle your fancy to try out this yarn. I looked in my particular patterns, and it is, since it's DK weight, I have quite a few patterns that I think it would work well in. One of them I decided to put on here. This is Fins, and I designed it in cotton. It's supposed to be fairly lightweight. I think that if you did it in the Arno, I don't know why I want to call it Arlo, so I have to keep reminding myself. It would make it more of a fall transitional. This was supposed to be summer, but I think the fuzz and the wool would take it into a more transitional piece. I think it would be really pretty. Since they're 50-gram balls, you could just make it as long as you wanted it to be. So I hope you enjoyed this look into Arno. Again, it's 57% cotton, 43% wool, it's just a really interesting blend, and I like it as a yarn. If you want to go back and look at the TNNA haul video and let me know which of the Berroco yarns you'd like me to swatch up next, that would be wonderful feedback for the comments below. I hope you like this video. If you do, please give the thumbs up, click that like button, and if you would like to be notified whenever I upload a new video, please subscribe to my channel and select notifications. Thank you so much.